This is News OSU for February 15th. I'm Channing NesSmith. Oklahoma State University is one of the few universities in the nation to offer graduate degrees in aviation. This is how your vote goes from here to here. The legislative branch is held here at the state capitol. The OSU Speakers Board brings a variety of guests to Stillwater. I recently had the opportunity to sit down with two of them. Cushing, Oklahoma is known to be America's pipeline crossroads of the world. I found out where it started, where it is now, and what it holds for the future. If you plan on traveling in the snow, the National Weather Service advises you to make an emergency kit for your car. This includes snow boots. For this weekend's weather, here is the News OSU forecast. This year marked OSU's 100th year of homecoming. On average, about 80,000 people attend the walk-around every year. I would also like to thank all of you for tuning in to Inside OSU. I'm Channing NesSmith. There are some important positions on the ballot this season. You can expect to vote on 9 executive offices, some being governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general. At the judicial level, the Oklahoma Supreme Court has 9 justices. From that, there are 4 seats up for retention. As a voter, you can decide whether or not that judge should remain in office for another term. Sean Roberts is a member of the State House of Representatives for Oklahoma. He says this is what you should know before you go to vote.
This next election is going to have all the state house races on the ballot and half of the state senate races. What they do is legislate at the state capitol.
Roberts says it's the same at the federal level. The House of Representatives are on the ballot every 2 years and every 6 years for the Senate. Although this year's election is a little different.
This year with Inhofe stepping down, we just happen to have both Senate races coming up. So it's a really critical year for the elections.
Knowing what's on your ballot can help you when deciding who to vote for. This is how your vote goes from here to here. The legislative branch is held here at the state capitol with 48 members of the Senate and 101 members of House of Representatives. Let's break it down. Raven Gyro is a student at OSU and says she does research on the elected positions before she goes to vote. She says the ballot can seem overwhelming for someone who has never voted before.
You can either choose you want to vote all Democrat, all Republican, or anything like that, or you can go individually and vote for who you think is best.
Gyro says she has voted in only one election. She says the reason why some college students don't vote is because
Oklahoma is a red state. Oklahoma is probably going to stay a red state. And a lot of them just don't think that their vote matters.
Every vote counts. For News OSU, I'm Channing NesSmith. This is News OSU for February 15th. I'm Channing NesSmith. Stillwater saw 4 to 6 inches of snow. OSU expected to cancel classes February 2nd and February 3rd, but college students got to enjoy a 5-day weekend. With no classes to attend, students gathered at Library Lawn for a snowball fight. This snowball fight was planned through social media for all students to meet for a snow brawl. Hundreds of students participated in the snowball fight with winter gear they had. Outside of the snowball fight, students were seen around campus enjoying the snow with makeshift sleds. However, a winter wonderland comes with an added workload for some. Dallas Haggerty explored OSU facility management's long list of tasks to complete once the Oklahoma State University campus turns white. We saw 5 inches of snow over 2 days. Classes were closed for 3 days, businesses were closed, and streets were slick. Oklahoma's weather can be unpredictable. Being prepared can keep you safe. Between the freezing temperatures and the inches of snow from last week's snowstorm, I found out everything you need to know on how to stay safe on the roads. According to Oklahoma Highway Safety, 61,739 car accidents happened in 2020. 15% of the total car accidents happened due to weather. Rob Hill is the emergency manager for the city of Stillwater, and this is how he prepares the city to clear the roads.
I'll send that an email to all the department heads and then talk about what their current concerns are, what their needs are, what their strengths are, and what they need from us to ensure that everything will be as prepared as possible.
Hill says that he watches the county surrounding Stillwater to better prepare for the weather. When the snow gets closer,
Hill recommends drivers to increase the following distance from the vehicle in front of them and reduce their overall speed.
We want them to start braking a lot earlier when they know that they're going to have to stop or if they're going to come to an intersection.
Hill says he encourages people to have patience when driving in these conditions and to stay home if you don't feel comfortable driving, although some people still have to work. Natalie Matson went to work at Stillwater Medical Center this morning.
I slid into the neighborhood. I couldn't get up my driveway. I slid down my driveway this morning, and you can't even tell where the curb ends and the road starts. So the roads are pretty tough.
Matson says when snow turns to ice, it can be hard to tell the difference. With worsening road conditions, some drivers experience an increase in emotions.
I'm nervous just because I'm kind of a bad driver. I definitely have to be extra careful.
Matson says she keeps her just-in-case pack that holds her blanket, headlamp, and ropes in case of an emergency.
There's lots of handy-dandy things in my car.
If you plan on traveling in the snow, the National Weather Service advises you to make an emergency kit for your car. This includes snow boots, a car charger, an ice scraper, and jumper cables. Now that you're all set, stay safe and stay warm. For News OSU, I'm Channing NesSmith.
Not being able to drive on the road was definitely a big impact for those caught in the storm. But there was another drive affected also. Not only did winter weather cancel school and prevent driving, but it also canceled blood drives across the state. These cancellations put more lives at risk as the nation fights for a blood shortage. Katie Pelzel has the story. COVID-19 cases had a significant drop from January. There are 125 current active cases, averaging about 7 cases a week, while a month ago the peak was at 952 cases. In other news, OSU police said there was an increase in sexual reports, with 4 reported sexual assaults in the month of January. In fact, January happens to be the month with the most sexual assault reports on campus each year since OSU PD has been keeping track. Jolie Saliv found out more on how the university is raising awareness so more of these cases can be prevented. Students who are looking for support can refer to One Is Too Many, located in 328 of the Student Union. There are over 300 million people invested in cryptocurrency. As James Parsons tells us, even with such a huge focus on the topic, a large variety of people may still not understand crypto and its purpose. Sunday night, power outages were reported across the Oklahoma City metro. OG&E outage maps showed over 20,000 reported outages. There are no reasons for the power outage at this time, but the power has been restored. Before the power outage, an OKC apartment complex caught fire February 8th. The $65 million apartment complex was under construction and expected to open in the spring. The fire started on the roof and the first crew arrived at about 7 p.m. There were no injuries and the fire officials were removed from the building before it collapsed. The cause of the fire is still unknown and investigators will rely on security footage and digging through rubble to determine the fire. And that's all for News OSU. I'm Channing NesSmith. Stay safe and we'll see you next week.